Kabaluku keiwe ninzo Uyu nusi mulipundu katete kuingata nzo Tukatwa wekivu kabaluku keiwe ninzo Uyu nusi mulipundu katete kuingata nzo Tukatwa wekivu Kabaluku keienzo Tukata dunia kitaka nyengulise mungo Tukatwa wekivu kabaluku keienzo Tukata dunia kitaka nyengulise mungo Tukatwa wekivu.
Hello, welcome again. This is St. Tuitions. Welcome to part 2 of our lesson, oral literature. And in this lesson we said that we're going to look at oral narratives. Oral narratives, we said that there are stories which people tell. First, we're going to look at the characteristics of these stories. The first characteristic is that they can be real or imaginary. The second one, they are easy to memorize. And the third one, they are written in past tense. These stories are written in past tense. And lastly, these stories as a chain of events. So, those ones are the characteristics or the major characteristics of these stories, oral narratives. Let's look at the types of the stories, and our first type of story is myths. A myth is just a belief. So these are stories which explain mysteries and phenomena of nature. So, because they are beliefs, these stories have no author. They have got no an author. And the main characters in these stories are gods and supernatural beings. Our next type of story, the legends. A legend is a person who is well known by a given community to be of great value to that particular community. So, these stories talk about heroes and heroines of a given community. Now, our third type of stories are theological narratives, or why narratives, and even explanatory stories. So those are the names and another names of theological narratives. Why stories or explanatory stories? They answer the question why something came into existence. So these are stories which explain the reason of existence of a certain phenomenon or something which happens. They answer the question why. So these stories, they explain the origin of certain phenomenon, just like that. Another type of story is ogre or monster stories. An ogre is a large, cruel and frightening being which is believed to be eating people. So ogre stories, there are stories involving ogres. Ogres are the major characters in these stories. So another type of these tales or these stories is the trickster stories. Trickster stories, it's a story or the stories where one character in the tale doesn't follow rules and tricks others to get what they want. So one character tricks the other character or another character in that tale. The character which is tricking another one or which is tricking another character in the tale is called a trickster. And the character which is tricked is called a dupe. So That's all about trickster stories. Our last type of story is the dilemma stories. Dilemma. What's a dilemma? A dilemma is a situation where you find that you only have two options, and the two options, they are not just easy. So it's a must for one to take either of the options. So these are stories where one character finds himself or herself in two situations which are hard to handle. So that's all about oral narratives, and those ones are the types of oral narratives. Now, in the next video, we're going to look at features of these oral narratives. We're going to look at how about what's contained in the stories, or what features the stories. So in the next video, we're going to look at those features. So before the next lesson, first subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.
General Mariama, Mau Hodari, Nai General China, Alishim Situni, Nai General China, Alishim Situni, Edanali Nyongwa, Akasikwa Kamete, Edanali Nyongwa, Akasikwa Kamete, Isoi wa Munyao, Kapanisha Bendera, Isoi wa Munyao, Kapanisha Bendera, Tutenge siku moja, siku ya mashujaa, tutenge siku moja, siku ya mashujaa, mashujaa wetu wa Kenya.